So I was sitting at this ASP conference, listening to Alathea sing this incredibly moving song, and all I could do was visualize a music video. I saw the whole thing playing out in my head.
When Alathea, kind of exposed us to the song last fall, I just sat there and tears rolled down my face.
There wasn't a dry eye in the room full of ASP supporters. The story told in the song touched everyone because these people had their own similar stories while working with ASP. Everyone there could relate.
I think music sometimes expresses things that words cannot. And ASP sometimes cannot be expressed by words. It can be experienced alone, and I think music can help folks understand what that experience is.
Watching that boy, his heart so big, when he believed the mountains move.
We see him up there, Scott.
I think that's okay. I think you're being clever. Awesome.
While producing documentary shorts for ASP, I was exposed to story after story of the life transformation that occurs to the volunteers. But I was surprised to find out that the lyrics to the song weren't fiction.
The first couple of lines is about a little boy going down to fish.
Little boy running down the road, gonna dig for worms and skip some stones.
And I went up to Mandee afterwards and I said, "Did Dad tell you that he went fishing every morning?" She had no idea. And so I truly believe that God was in all of this and had his hand through this whole project.
I carry you with me, now that I've gone, I still carry you.
Our dear friend Casey was having her first Appalachian Service Project experience. She went on a trip to Appalachia.
I originally wrote it down just to write it because it was such a great story. I just wanted to remember every little detail.
The family had a mom, a dad, and 2 boys, and they had been sleeping on padded mats.
So as we were finishing each room, a couple of the other kids and adults would go in and set up the beds, and the littlest boy, he was really dirty from playing in the dirt and having just a great time with all of us.
The youngest boy came running in, and as she was putting the pillowcase on the pillow, he said to her, "What is that?"
And she said, "Well, it's a pillow." And he said, "Well, what do you do with it?"
And she said, "Will you lay your head on it?"
He laid on it and he goes, "That's so soft." And we just all lost it.
From that moment, her life was transformed because she went home to her house in New Jersey, and every night as she put her head on the pillow, she thought of her little friend in Appalachia.
It's really heartbreaking when you go to a house and you know that we simply just don't have it in our budget to work on. So, the more resources we have, the better. Not just money too, but volunteers, volunteer numbers. The more volunteers we have, the more hands we can get in Appalachia to actually do the home repair and to build relationships with the families.
We actually turned down 4 out of 5 applicants that applied to us for help, and the situation is growing worse. I don't think we're even keeping up with the substandard housing problem that is all throughout Appalachia.
This is what God calls us to do. He calls us to help people that are in need.
We shot on location at an actual ASP project to produce the music video. We wanted to show the home transformed throughout the video, so we shot all summer to catch it at different stages of completion. On each shoot, Alathea was asked to perform the song for the volunteers. I wish everyone could have experienced it. God is truly in this ministry.
Jesus said, all of Scripture can be summed up with love God and love your neighbor. And that's what Appalachia Service Project does.
These people, to me, are God's true angels on earth.
We can't do everything, but we can do something. And when we do something, then it changes us too.
We create like the best relationships with them, and then on Friday when you go home, you're like, I don't want to go home.
Couldn't ask for better people. Some of the most caring people I've ever met in my life.
I want God to anoint this music video and multiply its reach. The work ASP is doing in Appalachia is amazing, but the need is so great. With more resources, ASP can serve more families who each have a story of their very own.
The hope that we bring to people is always going to be there. It's definitely not hopeless. I see God all over these mountains. I see it in the families we serve. I see it in the volunteers who come to serve. I see it in the landscape and the sunrise and every little detail about Appalachia. I see God, so I know it's not hopeless.
There's no sense in throwing your arms up and saying, I can't fix everything, so I'm not going to do it. Jesus didn't say you're going to fix everything. Jesus said, whatever you've done to the least of these, you've done to me.